I'm sure many of you know, after I announced I'd be streaming tonight, some sensitive documents were released about my family, and everybody wants me to address. They want you to address everything, and so I'll have to address everything in a very specific way, because I don't know if you guys know, but there are certain charges and allegations against me at the moment, and I have to talk in very specific ways about those things. Typically, not talking about them is what I have to do, but I have to talk a little bit about them because I talk in public for a living and people want to know what's going on. Obviously, first, the release of information that's supposed to be protected at a very specific time, right after I announce a show and right before the show starts, is something that is concerning. And of course, I will have a lawyer looking into that right away. I know people want to draw conclusions from whatever's going on. And look, there's no way around it. There's nothing to say other than people will get to draw their conclusions from what they read. I'm not here to fight you guys at all. I'm not here to fight your conclusions. I'm not here to fight or justify or prove anything. I don't need to do that for you. Believe it or not, a lot of really well-meaning friends want me to do that. And these people are lawyers, which is shocking. They want me. I'll say it this way. They say, Nick, you need to do X, Y, and Z because of your YouTube channel and your online image. And my response is, sir, madam, I don't know if you know this, but the lowest priority in my life right now is my public image for the purposes of YouTube and Rumble. So any of you who want me to come out here and do some weird grandiose apology or prostrate myself in front of you, let me just help you with my public image right now. F you. Right in your damn mouth. I'm not here to worry about what you think about me. And that should be obvious to damn near anybody. And if you think it's in my character to come out and grovel before you and say, oh, I'm so sorry I let you down. I didn't let you down. I didn't pick you up. I didn't make you, and I didn't make promises to you. So if you feel let down by me, let yourself down from the stool, Robin Williams. I'm not here for you. I'm not here to own your feelings, and I'm not here to apologize to your feelings and sensibilities either. And if I did, you shouldn't respect me, because anybody who comes out like a little and says, I really am worried about my public image, not my family, not my liberty, not holding government accountable, none of that, but my public image, my public image. Well, you're probably a fat Canadian, or maybe a skinny Canadian who can't fly to the right city. Or maybe you're a doughy Minnesotan. I don't know who you are, but I'm not here to apologize to you or for anything. I am under the thumb of government at the moment, which means government gets to say whatever they want about me, and I don't get to respond. That's a place to be. We've talked about it a lot on this show. What's funny is a lot of my colleagues have talked a lot about it too. But the moment it happens, they all tuck their nuts up into their own assholes and become the biggest pack of gabbling women I've ever seen. Running around, come out, apologize, bow down, bow, beg, tell everybody that you're sorry. For what? What am I sorry for? They don't know what I'm supposed to be sorry for. I don't know what I'm supposed to be sorry for. What I know is that government has accused me of some criminal acts. Those criminal acts have impacted me and my family. The accusation from government is not a conviction. It may convict you in the eyes of people, and that's fine. If I'm convicted in your eyes, good. Go find someone else. You're now validated. I bid you adieu. I'm sorry I let you down by never promising anything and doing something that you didn't approve of, maybe. Except that thing that I'm supposed to have done still remains to be seen. But I will say this, I will be holding government to its full accountability to the extent of my rights. And anybody who thinks I shouldn't do that, okay. I don't know what law channels you're watching, probably a cockeyed Koreans or something. Someone who doesn't understand the value of innocence until proven guilt. Someone who doesn't understand the value of constitutional rights. Or maybe people who just like to talk really big about not listening to government until the government comes knocking. Then suddenly they're running around in the truest definitions of a 90s, crying, prostrating themselves, begging for the leather to put their tongue on, like it's a big chocolate starfish of their local police chief or whatever. Sorry. You will never, ever find that attitude from me or my channel. And you will never have me apologize to you for anything in my life other than being late to streams and being generally inept and retarded at running them. I'll apologize for that because I'm guilty of that. But anybody out there speculating right now about whether or not a government document is accurate, well, I'll let you determine if government is accurate or not. It's not up to me. It's up to the government to prove they're accurate. As for me, I have a lot to say about what is on documents that have been released. Paper copies of documents released before they're available to the public. That's a little strange. Case files that are protected being accessed by members of the public. That's a little strange. The timing of certain drops coming out. That's a little strange. The thinness of a search warrant's probable cause statement. Very strange. But it's not for me to fight these things on YouTube. And anybody who suggests that I should, or that I have some duty to explain to you my legal strategy, my legal avenues for doing this, or that anything I say or don't say is somehow either an admission or an omission of some duty I owe to the general public. Anyone who's saying that, anyone who is saying that is a lying grifter in the truest, not funny sense of the word. And I have zero respect for anyone like that, especially if they call themselves a lawyer. Anyone who calls themselves a lawyer and immediately demands me to run out and bend over before government not only shouldn't be a lawyer, they shouldn't be an American, and they shouldn't be a lot of other things. Because last I checked, we don't do that round here. I've long talked about the transparency of courts and what they're for. It's amazingly ironic to me that people hear me talk about that. They'll agree with me. The transparency of courts was always to hold government accountable, by the way, not your fellow man. It was always to hold government accountable. It was because prior to the United States, the legal system was that of the King of England. And he had the Star Chamber. He was the court. He was the enforcement arm of law, the judgment arm of law. And those courts were held in private. People's charges were private. The details about them were private. The public wasn't allowed to analyze them. I've talked about how even though it can be embarrassing, our country was founded on the principle of distrust of its authority, distrust of its government, a healthy, necessary evil of putting a few people in charge of many, but holding them accountable and adhering to freedom. And the amount of out there now who consistently lose that principle and say, no, actually, government must be correct at all times, baffles me. Baffles me more when they work with the government in the system and still think that way. I will not. I never will. You'll never get that from me on this channel. I will not be coming out here crying to you about something that didn't ever involve anyone here. You watch this show because for some reason it entertains you. I often wonder what it is because I couldn't watch my show. I would find it terrible. And maybe you do, and maybe that's what you like. That's cool. Maybe you find it wildly enjoyable. That's great. I'm glad. I come out here to entertain you. Now, this stream is not about entertainment, although many of you will probably be entertained by it, and that's good. This stream is one of the few real serious streams that I have to do because I will be back full-time streaming. And this was going to be the announcement for that. A little bit of recognition of the differences in the studio that I have. Well, not different. It's the same studio, but different decorations and arrangements of things. And there's still some stuff to be done on it. We were going to talk about my biggest current concern, which is I got more fan mail, but tonight's no longer appropriate for that. Yes, that's right. In the midst of all of this, I got an ethics complaint for swearing too much, which puts me at, I think, 57. I know people are going to have commentary. They're going to have questions. They're going to have demands about my situation. And I'll just have to say, all the things I'm going to say impactful to my case will be said through counsel in court. They won't be said here. You've watched this channel long enough. You should understand that. And if that's not acceptable to you, too bad. There's no other way for me to do it. Right now, I am charged with a serious felony. Many of you have heard that sentence. Possibility is 25 years. It's a very unlikely outcome for someone like me, but it is a possibility, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things. That's not something to be taken lightly. It's not something to be laughed at. People come out and they say, Nick hasn't taken accountability for his actions. And I'm like, the government hasn't proven my actions. So how can I take accountability for that which hasn't been shown? What I do know is this. I have counsel in this case. People thought I would represent myself because I guess they're. I have counsel in this case. He seems like a good dude, a competent dude, and we will be going through this and doing what needs to be done. I see a lot of speculation on the internet, and I can see basically all of it has many of the major details wrong. And that's fine. Most of the details aren't for anybody. And that covers a whole lot more than the criminal case, just my life. My life story is becoming marvelously interesting, even though it's painful and really annoying a lot of the time. But government will be dealt with as, I guess, time permits, allows. I'm not even sure how to say it. As the time becomes appropriate, government will be dealt with in course. These charges will be dealt with in course. And I know what many of you are saying about these types of charges and the allegations against me. And you know what? Say what you will. Watch. You get to watch it live. You get to see what it does with me, to me. You get to see the outcome as it happens. It's pretty rare. Should be a good show for you guys. For me, it'll be one of the most stressful and horrifying times of my entire life. As I've always said, being under indictment by the government is one of the worst positions people can be in. But I'll deal with it. Because unlike groveling, sniveling commentators online who've never had to deal with any actual adversity in their lives, That's what you do. That's not what a man does. That's not what a woman does. It's not about masculinity or femininity or anything. That's about what people have to do. There are times in your life where you are faced with something that you never could have imagined, that you never could predict, that you will not be prepared for. And again, I feel like a broken ass record because I've said all of this in the context of other people. When you are under the thumb of government, you are not prepared for it. No matter what you think you are not prepared for it. They will go after you in ways that you do not expect. They will come at you with information and you won't know if it's true. And you won't be able to adequately challenge it right away. There's a process. And that process in and of itself is designed to grind you into dirt. It's designed to make you capitulate to government. Because they'll say, we have this and this and this. And you'll say, F you, show me. And when you do take a moment, and you work with government, and you can find this in the recently leaked documents, and you cooperate by, say, asking them to come into your home, they will lie under oath to the judge. That's right, Alicia Sweep. They will lie under oath to the judge. They will fabricate a situation that did not occur. They will lie about your willingness to cooperate. They will lie about things that you said. They will generate statements said by other people out of nothing because I was there and that wasn't said. They will violate the rules of evidence. They will violate the rules of civil procedure. They will violate the rules of juvenile procedure. And disinterested judges and very terrible attorneys will let it all go. Because everyone grovels at the feet of government. But I don't. If you're ever in a situation like mine, and I pray that you're not, do not allow anyone to convince you that you should grovel before government or just accept an outcome. Don't do it. Government's system of punishment is designed to fuck you. And it does it mercilessly, relentlessly, unapologetically, and it doesn't even call you good girl and spit in your mouth. It just does it. And when you're tired and bleeding on the bed, it does it again and again and again. You can't roll over until you're sore enough. And that's what they want you to do, is roll over. Don't. Fight for your rights. You have them. They exist for a reason, including your right to free speech. And I will sit here and I will fight for every one of those commentators' rights to be a giant coward in the face of someone else's plight. And it's amazing to watch these people that I thought were courageous quiver in fear, performatively, just to beg you for one more $20 donation, please. It's embarrassing. I will be resuming content focused on the same things we always focus on. That content will be absent any alcohol or anything else. When I tell a joke about cops talking about my house, like, and label this clearly a joke, they're like, oh my God, Nick shouldn't say that. Ugh. And then they'll come out and they'll be like, Nick needs to apologize for everything he's accused of. And I'm like, accused of is the word here. Accused of. Let's let the government prove anything first. Let's let them prove anything because they haven't even had an opportunity to do so. That's the best part. One day, though, I get to tell you about all of this. But right now, we have Constitution to worry about. My personal liberty is what I'm concerned with. The welfare and well-being of my family, despite the little memes about it, has always been and will always be my top priority. Anyone suggesting otherwise? Well, I don't want to violate YouTube's rules about encouraging self-harm. So I won't comment further on what you should do. There are 6 people in this world that have consistently mattered to me more than my own safety or anything else. And that's my wife and my children. There's a short list of people who sit just below them, and then there's every other concern on the planet. But anyone suggesting otherwise, come talk to me about it. Not at my house, though, because if you come to my house, I'll treat you like a stalker. And I am dead.